I am cooking and talking about something that really bugs me today. There is one thing that really annoys me. It's the one thing that I consider an invasion on my life, but it's also inescapable, and that, as you may already know, is advertising. I hate advertising beyond measure. And I will do anything I can pretty much to, well, within reason, to avoid it. I mute every ad break on TV. Advertising is no good to me because I'm not interested in buying the things that they want me to buy. And in fact, I don't think a lot of it has got anything to do with you buying the product. It's just about getting the product in front of your face. And of course, adverts these days are stupid. If you dissected your average advert, you would think, this doesn't make any sense. Why have I got a dog singing to me about floor cleaner? Why are the Deliveroo and Uber ads so ridiculous? It's just naff takeaway food delivered by someone who is chronically underpaid and is desperately trying to keep a roof over their heads. Because let's face it, Deliveroo drivers or any of the food delivery drivers are treated really badly. I am not interested in high-end perfume. I am not interested in buying ridiculously expensive laundry products. And the other problem is that the internet only seems to function now, only seems to be able to survive because of advertising. I don't bother reading the local news on my phone because if you read the papers, any of them that aren't behind a paywall, good luck being able to read the article because it's so full of pop-ups and adverts that you can't even see the text anymore. So I don't even bother reading the local papers. I have been a huge fan of AdBlocker for a long time, and I have had it installed on my laptop for forever, and that is the main reason why I like YouTube, is because with AdBlocker you don't have to see any of the advertising. The only thing you have to put up with is the embedded sponsored ads, which is the only way YouTubers seem to be able to make any money now, is by having sponsored advertising. And I skip those as well because I'm not interested in the products. I'm not going to buy them. If I want to buy something, I will go and find it myself. And being that I don't buy anything that's a non-essential, the adverts on the internet are not trying to sell me essentials. They're trying to sell me stuff that I don't need and I don't want, and it's just going to clutter up my life. So an interesting thing happened last week. I started to notice that every time I went to watch a YouTube video, I was getting a warning coming up saying, we see you're using AdBlocker. Please remove it. We need you to look at the adverts. And I would just ignore it and delete that message and carry on. And then this week, I have a new message which says, you can only watch 3 more videos. And then if you don't remove AdBlocker, we're not going to show you any more videos. You can't watch YouTube. And of course, let's not forget that for every rule that's created, there is someone willing to break it. And you don't have to look very far to find a way around this rule. So I am now happily watching YouTube and not having to deal with that threatening message. And I still get to use AdBlock. I'm not going to tell you how I do it, because the last thing we want is YouTube working it out, although I think they probably already know. But I found a video on YouTube which told me how I could watch YouTube and not have to worry about this message and still carry on actually enjoying YouTube. Because I have to be honest with you, if it gets to the point where I am forced to watch the YouTube adverts, I will probably stop watching YouTube and just use it as a channel that I post to, because I can't stand that. I can't do it. It just takes all the joy out of it. I already, you know, there are some other sites where I use the free versions, and if you use free versions of things, you will be penalised by having to listen to a billion adverts. We have Spotify. I use Spotify a lot because I'm really into podcasts. I don't listen to music on there because you get 3 songs and then an irritating advert or 3. But I do listen to it for podcasts. But Spotify has a very useful 15-second skip button, so you can skip adverts pretty quick. And I have just got used to having to skip multiple adverts while I listen to a podcast. It's just the way it is, but it's the only way I can get podcasts. I can't afford to subscribe to channels. The problem that we have now is that everyone is used to getting everything for free, and aside from paying for your Wi-Fi or your 4G or whatever it is you use to pay to get your internet, the internet is basically free. Yes, there are lots of paywalls, but you just go to another website. Don't use a paywall. I know that lots of YouTubers, for instance, have Patreon, and you can pay to subscribe and you get other material. I can't afford to do that. I appreciate that that's one of the ways they make the money. I also appreciate that one of the ways they make the money is by adverts being shoved in front of our faces, and they make money off of that. Well, I don't know how it works when you use an ad blocker. I assume they just don't get paid because there's no advert coming through. But the internet now only seems to exist because of advertising. And that's the only way it seems to make any money. And that's a worrying thing, because it means that at some point you're not going to be able to look at the internet without dealing with your screen covered in ads and pop-ups. And I do feel that advertising is an invasion. I don't find it useful. I don't find it enjoyable. And I don't see why I should have to succumb to that because I want to use the free version of anything. So if you're in a similar situation, you've suddenly found that you can no longer watch YouTube without enduring the adverts. There are ways around it. Just Google it. How to get around YouTube AdBlock or something like that if you've been using AdBlock. It's not that difficult. I'm not that techie, but if I can work it out, then pretty much anyone can. And I'm now happily watching YouTube again without having to deal with the grossness of naff advertising. I don't know what sort of adverts that YouTube show, but I've looked at the comments on some of the posts that are about how to circumnavigate this problem, and it sounds like some of the advertising is pretty gross. It's one of the reasons I pretty much don't bother using Instagram anymore, because the adverts are endless, and the adverts are bad. They're not even proper companies. You've got things like Temu and Amazon and fake products, and particularly when it's Christmas season, the fake adverts and fake products that were being advertised on Instagram was unbelievable. So, I mean, at least when you're looking at Instagram Reels, you can scroll through and avoid the adverts. But they're still there, and it's still irritating and annoying. And it's really hard to avoid. And it just makes the whole internet thing less palatable. I can go out and walk around the street and not look at a billboard. I can go into a shop and just look for the things that I want. but the internet is becoming a pretty vile place as far as advertising is concerned. But there are ways around it. So if you are struggling, just Google YouTube workaround AdBlock or something, and there's plenty of advice up there. It's really easy to do, and I'm glad that for now at least I can keep enjoying YouTube the way I want to watch it, which is not how YouTube and advertisers want me to watch it. And they don't benefit anyway, because I wouldn't watch the advert, I'd probably mute it, I'd probably leave the room, so they're not getting anything out of me anyway, and I certainly wouldn't be buying whatever rubbish it is they're trying to get me to buy. So that's my little rant out the way. That's my Sunday rant. And I'm just going to keep cooking my lunch and go back to watching ad-free YouTube. Thank you.